Yo, 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 hello, and welcome to another episode of and we're gonna do an interview with the Great Naskatan. I hope I said that right. All right, Ren, be silent and we're gonna invite him in. Hello, hello, it's so great to meet you.
Great? What do you mean great? I didn't know I was. Wait, I know I'm not famous. Infamous, more likely.
um, to me, I think you're just, really well known. Like in a compliment.
Well known within certain circles, I would presume.
So, this is my friend here, Ren, and he wanted to be part of it, so I hope you're okay with that.
That's perfectly fine with me. If hey, it's whatever you want to do. It's your stream.
So, I know I've mentioned about the video about the whole furry fandom possibly falling apart. What do you think? What's been causing the situation lately?
Well, it's at least from my perspective, it's less of an issue of furry fandom falling apart so much as it just generally being kind of in a state of chaos. Um, more kind of like incoherent, divided, and that generally, as far as I'm aware, I mean, I've been in this fandom for God 16 years now, and as far as the recent few years have been able to dictate, and as far as I can tell, and my experiences, the things that kind of are driving it toward that kind of divisiveness, that incoherence, that instability is primarily just politics.
Oh yeah, I agree on that too, because I think from what I've been noticing with the fandom, like I know I talked about it with my friends in another stream. I told them it was probably because there's some like situations that involve like possibly politics or like personal situations, like people like precisely like I don't know, like relationship wise or something like that. I mean, I've supported the fandom when I used to be a furry, but I still support it to this day. And I've also talked about how like the other fandoms, like I don't know, it's like here's this question I've been wondering lately, ever since I was in high school. Like, I just thought like, why do the furries or the bronies are kind of like beefing or something like that. I never could find a resolution.
The beef between the furries and the bronies, yeah, that's after several years, that's a pretty historic kind of conflict right there. Um, Generally, the beef between the furries and the bronies tends to primarily stem from, as far as I've ever become aware, is that the bronies kind of they are a fandom that really kind of focuses on like that one particular aspect, that one show, that one real kind of like genre. Um, and while technically speaking, they do kind of fold into the furry fandom as a whole, uh, a lot of furries just tend to kind of find them a bit, kind of find them and their fascination with the show and the show itself just kind of a tad cringy. And so there's always just been this kind of beef. It's never really technically been anything like super big or important. It's just mostly just been people just being like, ugh.
Oh yeah, I I could definitely see that way too. Um so have do you think sorry if my voice is I need water. One second. Okay, so oh my god, my voice, I'm so sorry. um so do you think do you like what's your okay, this might be another kind of odd question, but do you think there's religion in the fandom, like Christianity or?
As far as I've ever experienced and been aware of, is that there absolutely is religion in the fandom. I mean, the fandom in and of itself is, you know, inherently kind of agnostic. Like the fandom in and of itself does not prescribe to any particular religion. It doesn't really have any kind of fascination or, direction towards one religion or another or any kind of faith. But there certainly are people in the fandom who are Christian, quite a good few. There's some Muslims in the fandom, I'm aware of, some Jews. There's plenty of Hindus and the like. There's people of all sorts of manners of, established Judeo-Christian religions. From Asian religions, there's people of just like general spiritualities, like paganism and Wiccanism and that kind of thing. It's religiously and spiritually speaking, the fandom is extremely diverse.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I also have more questions about your channel. I know I've only watched your the furry fandom one, but what videos do you like to create or build like a storyline? Like what's the inspiration?
Well, when it comes to my channel and the kind of content I make, and I got to be honest, I haven't made any content in a while, except for like some memes and shit posting kind of thing. But uh, that's only because I've just been so goddamn busy with work. But when I generally do tend to actually, take the time and put the effort into making a video, it generally tends to fall along the lines of the socio-political and ideological and how it affects the fandom and how the general state of things in those regards is reflected upon the fandom itself, and the kinds of the differences and divides and issues that it causes. Like one of the videos I'm kind of most proud of because it allows me to go into clarification significantly is the video of mine titled, "Are you a Nazi fur?" Where I went on to Twitter and I found this little quiz somebody came up with like, I don't know, it was like 20 or 24 questions or something like that, and regarding how, dependent upon how you respond to those or what you think of those questions, can determine whether or not you're a Nazi fur. And basically the entire thing was horrifically one-sided ideologically, and I just felt the need to just like go through it, break it down, answer the questions, clarify the points and positions, because it was really flimsy, but it needed discussing.
What's your thoughts on those who are anti-furries? Because for me personally, I've met one, and I saw his content, and I didn't agree with how he was making fun of the furries. Even my friends have witnessed this. So what do you think or feel of these anti-furries that talk about the fandom in a bad way and call them, oh, like they screw animals? No, they don't do that.
Oh,
Like,
animal fuckers, degenerates, all that kind of thing. Yeah. um, well, generally speaking, my perspective on them tends to fall more along the lines with, these are just people. It's a kind of thing. The furry fandom is one of those things. It's just out of their comfort zone. It's out of their realm of interest or understanding. They don't really care for it. Um, and I mean, I personally, I'm part of the fandom. I've been a furry for 16 years, and I'll rip on furries left and goddamn right. But at the same time, most of that comes from primarily self-reflection of the fandom as a whole. But as for the like anti-furries, people who just utterly despise them and who come up with any and every smear under the sun, my perspective has always been with them. All right, well, okay, you don't like furries, okay, that's fine, good, good for you. You do you. If you don't like them, that's cool. Say what you want, talk your shit. Who cares? Because at the end of the day, whatever kind of smears and nonsense they want to throw around, whatever they want to say, it doesn't really inherently affect anybody. So, people can be butt mad about whatever they want. So just, let them.
that is true. I mean, people are gonna talk smack about the fandom regardless, but as long as the fandom, stays true to themselves and just personally just ignore the anti-furries who try to troll them, I think in the end, as long as the fandom, just goes about their way, still celebrate it, still enjoy it, the passion for it, I believe all is good, and I'm a huge support of the LGBTQ community as well, and lots of furries are in the LGBTQ community, if I'm correct.
As far as I'm aware from the statistics, um, the majority of the fandom does fall within the LGBT spectrum there, and by definition, and all that stuff. So there of course are a significant number of people in the furry community who are heterosexual or cisgender or whatever you want to refer to it as. And honestly, I've never really understood any furries who have ever been like, oh, it's an LGBTQ community or something like that. It's like, no, it's not. It's just a community. It makes up everybody across all the spectrums and everything. So, why are you trying to label it as one thing? Because all that invariably does is, the heterosexual furries, when you start promoting, the fandom's LGBTQ, it's LGBTQ, that just makes them feel, kind of ostracized in a certain respect. And so I'm just like, the fandom is not LGBTQ or anything like that. The fandom just is, because at its core, the furry fandom is nothing, absolutely nothing beyond just an interest and a fascination with anthropomorphic characters and all that sort of thing. That's all it really is. That's its core. It doesn't depend upon your religion or your sexuality or how you identify, or your gender or anything like that. That's it. Do you have an interest in fascination with anthropomorphic characters and animals? And okay, cool. That's the furries.
I've also heard from some furries because I remember before they shut down the whole Google Plus media. I used to talk to some furries, and they said that I guess the fandom started out with that Disney, not Zootopia. Well, I mean, Zootopia might have had a part in it, but it was that classic Disney movie, Robin Hood the Fox.
That was an extremely significant factor. Um, I don't technically think that the furry fandom. Well, I mean, it depends on how big and small you want to consider it, and how far back you really want to go. But by technicality, the concept of furries, the fascination with anthropomorphic animals and characters, it's been around for a long time. But with the advent of television, the internet, things like that, with movies, with art, it really kind of developed extremely quickly in the 20th century, later 20th century, and Disney's Robin Hood being basically, the first and most prominent, very, very well made, and very detailed and very interesting and enthralling kind of piece of cinema. Really, kind of what acted as a catalyst for people to just be like, oh, I love this kind of stuff. These animals that go around, they, act like humans, they talk, and, they walk on two legs, all this kind of thing. And that really kind of what kickstarted what one could perceive as, the modern iteration of the furry fandom.
Do you think they also created Zootopia because they wanted to support the furries?
I think that was partially part of their decision. Um, because Disney is absolutely well aware that the furry fandom, globally at least, is pretty significantly large. It's one of the largest, as far as I'm aware, internet subcultures. And as far as I've ever been made aware, there's actually quite a few people at Disney who did work on Zootopia who do identify with and participate in the fandom. So I'm sure that was partially a driving factor. Um, for the most part, though, I think it was just the kind of story they wanted to tell. They needed the method of telling it to be through anthropomorphic animals, because they didn't really want to push it too far. They wanted it to be interesting. They wanted people to be intrigued. They didn't want to just do some live action bullshit or something like that. They didn't want people to humanize it too much, so much as just reflect on it.
Right. I absolutely also agree on that. Um, is it okay if my friends in here ask you questions?
Again, like I've said before, it's your stream. By all means, do as you please.
All right, Ren, Flippy, or whoever wants to speak, go ahead and start asking.
Okay. So I was recently talking to one of my friends about this because, well, um, shit, is this working? Can you hear me, right?
I can hear you pretty well.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't exactly going off, but I guess that's anyway. So I think the reason why the community, the fandom is so confusing to a lot of people because you look at bronies, right? It has what it's trying to say. You know, friendship is magic. It has its message, just like other fandoms. But the furry fandom, it's its own start. The community is what creates it, really. You know?
Well, yeah, because like the Brony community has, while being a subset, technically speaking, of the furry community, the Brony community has, a very particular set of
Exactly.
ideas and very particular set of messages that it revolves around. And like the whole friendship is magic thing, that togetherness, that community, that friendship, that bonding, and all that stuff, that's kind of part of its little core. But
But
the furry community, on the other hand, it's a lot more nebulous. It's formed on the strict basis of an interest and fascination with anthropomorphic animals and characters, and from there it just really just kind of expands into a society of its own.
yeah, because like My Little Pony, for example, has its own characters. It has its own arc and whatnot. Furry fandom, not really, not exactly anyway. And so I was thinking maybe that's one of the biggest reasons why, like, what the fuck is this? Um,
it's
like
it's
just one
it's
second.
potentially a small contributing factor
Yeah,
to some of the like issues and disagreements between the furry fandom as a whole and the brony community. Um, but as for the fandom itself, and everything that's going on with it, it's basically negligible. It doesn't really matter. There's so much more important and complex issues going on in the fandom right now as a reflection of society as a whole.
yeah, yeah. Then like, it seems like it. I don't know. Whenever I hear somebody talking about a fandom, it's these people are, every part of the fandom has its are thinking the same thing. It has, like for example, dog fuckers. That's pretty much what a lot of furries are called, pretty much. And so, if anything, I guess they're looking at it in a shitty way, because the people make the fandom what it is. So you have just everyone going in with their own intentions. Like the military, for example, they use it as a coping mechanism.
Yeah,
Just,
like
it's like, how are they supposed to deal with this shit?
like
Such
when it
shitty
comes to
situation.
the negative perceptions of the fandom, particularly by like the general public, normies, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, Generally, that tends to stem mostly from the simple concept that bad press will last, good press goes by the wayside. It's like they say, like you know, successes are good for a while, but mistakes last forever. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, unfortunately, the furry fandom has a very long and sordid history of
Yeah, we're almost
pretty.
reaching 50 years if you want to argue it kind
Yeah,
in a way it started like in the 70s.
yeah. The furry fandom has a very long and sordid history
Very.
of very bad press and bad actors and that kind of thing, and that just kind of tends to stick with the public.
Yeah,
And there's
exactly.
there's no real way the fandom will ever escape that image, which
Yeah.
is all the more reason I find it odd why so many furries nowadays are so desperate to try and take the fandom quote unquote mainstream, because
Yeah.
it's not, it's gonna clash too hard. It's never really gonna work. There's too much bad imagery, too much bad press, people are just going to be like, furries, that's just weird. What? Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, the people are what make the community, you know? At least with this one. Because you had the whole Kiro incident, and whether
Yeah,
you
the
believe him or
Zoosatus thing,
not,
yeah.
it is what it is, really.
Yeah, and like you said, the people do make the community, and it is what it is. The fandom, just like society at large,
Hmm.
it's got plenty of weirdos and creepers and pedos and murderers and rapists and bad actors and criminals and cringy shitlords and all kinds of things. It's
Yeah.
there's never not going to be a downside and a bad aspect to the fandom, because it's like I've said before, it's just it's essentially like a microcosm uh, of society as a whole. But the problem being is that the furry fandom, unlike let's say uh, the anime fandom,
Yeah.
the anime fandom, and a bunch of other fandoms and internet subcultures, um, they tend to be very secluded and kind of like self-contained. Whereas the furry fandom, unfortunately, has this really unfortunate penchant for trying to break itself into the general public, into the mainstream, which is why you see so many just people in the general public, journalists and those sorts,
Hmm.
on like Twitter especially. They're always pointing out and making fun of, arguing with, furries, talking
Hmm. Yeah.
sociopolitical crap and economic crap, and it's like, why are you getting into this shit under the guise of your persona and shit? Just stop. If you're gonna argue that crap, do it on their playing field. Because if you come at that kind of thing as a furry, you just you're not doing yourself or the fandom any favors.
Yeah, it doesn't help that a lot of them don't have much self-awareness, it seems. Because from the public eye, we're just creeps wearing suits, at least for the fursuiter,
Well, for the
whatever.
longest time, that was generally the case, but for the last
Yeah.
few years, particularly, essentially, as the furry fandom had identity politics and far left ideology injected into it and forced on it very
Hmm.
heavily. Unfortunately, the whole perception of just a bunch of weirdos walking around in animal costumes, whereas that used to be the general perspective. Nowadays, it's starting to evolve more as the kind of like, these people are just absolutely fucking crazy. These weird people, they're obsessed with identity and race and gender, and they're constantly just talking shit about the general public, turning them off, going on about oh, trans right or human rights, and I'm just like, why are you why are you shooting yourself in the foot like that?
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, it is pretty peculiar. I don't know.
Well,
It
one
seems
of the
like,
one of the biggest downsides to the fandom has been how much of basically a parallel, a microcosm of society at large that it is that it's so nebulous and so similar to society in on the whole in a lot of ways, that it kind of bleeds over, and that doesn't really generally tend to do the fandom too much of a service, because it
mhm,
stops focusing on what the fandom is, an interest in anthropomorphic characters and animals, and it primarily just starts making the focus of what the fandom is just this cringed hive of you know absolute spastics.
yeah, it's like if you're wearing this giant fursuit or something, and you're, I don't know, sharing an opinion on politics, no one's gonna take you serious.
No, because nobody's going to take political or socioeconomic advice from somebody
Exactly.
walking around in a fucking angel dragon fursuit.
All right. I think Ren wanted to ask some questions too.
Yeah, that was just the last thing I wanted to say. You take the floor around.
Okay, first, something I want to say, Cora, I think we should set like time limits of like 10, 15 minutes. That way everyone really gets a chance. And I have problems keeping thoughts in my head for more than like 5 minutes. First thing I wanted to say, what I've really gotten from the fandom when I first discovered it like 3 or 4 years ago, what I really got, because before I even got into it, I really talked to people about it and questioned people because I was pretty much the outcast just about everything in school. But I started talking to people about this because I discovered one of my friends was a furry. And I started talking to him, started talking to others, started questioning it because I didn't have a clue what it was. And I had somebody tell me, oh, they're fur fuckers. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, they fuck animals. I'm like, okay, is it just you that thinks this, or do you actually have proof? He's like, oh, I just assume it because they dress up as animals. Well, I got into the fandom and started exploring it, and from my basic knowledge, the people of the furry fandom are just trying to show that they are free and that they can be who they want to be. That's my basic realization from it all.
In a certain respect, yes. Because at its core, a lot of people in the fandom, they join for an extremely, varied amount of reasons. And so, like, some people join because of the interest with the anthropomorphic characters. Some people join as a means of escapism. Some people join as kind of like, an attachment to their spirituality, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And so it really kind of depends. There's no one real thing that ties down the fandom aside from the interest in anthropomorphic characters, and the whole perception of oh, furries are just animal fuckers or that kind of thing. Well, that's one of the things, like, when people try to jump on me about that is, well, like, I'm sure some of you have seen some of, like, these documentaries or these articles
Yeah.
regarding the fandom that have been about good, for good or bad. Generally, the furries who are being interviewed, or the focus of the articles or the documentaries, they're generally the type who are going to sit there and they're going to have some pre-scripted kind of response, about how the fandom's so lovely, it's so open and free and wonderful, and blah blah blah, and and that's just completely, as far as I'm concerned, personally, the absolutely most inappropriate and wrong way to
Yeah.
address the fandom to the public. Because, I mean, if you're going to talk about the furry fandom to the public, to the normies, then the best thing you can possibly do is to be objective and to be reasonable and to be honest about it. So if somebody's ever talking about furries and they're just kind of shitting on them, just be like, oh, so that little fandom of animal fuckers and dog fuckers, that's when you can be like, I mean, I'm not gonna. That's when you can tell them, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, there are some people like that in the fandom.
Yeah.
There absolutely are. Just like in society at large, there are some people who do that. I mean, there's plenty of people out there just in society who, yeah, they fuck animals. They aren't furries,
Well,
but they fuck
I
animals.
mean, yeah, there are people out there who do that, but just because one furry does it, they're like the whole one bad apple ruins the bunch. I mean, yeah, granted, just because one does it does mean there's a chance others will, but it doesn't mean all of us do. And also
Yeah.
the whole the people trying to come out and bring the furry fandom out, I kind of understand that because a lot of people are treating us as these people who rape animals and treating us almost as if we're a cult. And I see both sides of the fence. I understand where people are coming from. It's something new, something they're not used to seeing, and being introduced to it is strange. It's weird. It's off. It doesn't feel or seem normal, to be honest. But once you get into it, it's you'll meet nice people. I mean, you will meet some haters and stuff like that, and some furries that are trolls and will say, "Oh, your character's crap." And it's like, well, who really cares what they say? You got to stay positive. You got to be you. Do what you wish to do. Do what feels right. Don't let haters bring you down and say, "Oh, you're just an animal fucker," when the majority of us just aren't.
Which
Randa.
is
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
sorry about that. Which that's inherently true, but at the same time, you need to understand the inherent perspective coming from people who aren't from the fandom, because
Yeah.
it's very easy for people to, at their core, try to make associations and to try to find patterns. So when people hear stories about those in the fandom who are caught treating animals inappropriately and that kind of thing, it's very easy for them to be able to say, oh well, well, most furries are like this. Oh, they must be like this because why would all these people have such a fascination with animals otherwise? Because it's very easy for people to jump those kinds of psychological conclusions.
that
It's
does. Oh, sorry.
it's all good. It's just a simple kind of like
Yeah.
intellectual coping mechanism for them.
I understand.
Yeah,
And,
so nobody should ever really take it personally. I mean, it's kind of like what you said. I mean, if you're in the fandom and you're not hurting anybody, you're not doing anything wrong or anything like that, and you're just enjoying it for what it is, then it doesn't matter if somebody hates furries. It doesn't matter if somebody hates your character. It doesn't matter if somebody hates you for some stupid thing you said once in a while. It doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like you because of your perspective or your politics or anything like that. None of that matters. Literally none of it matters. You do you, and just enjoy being a furry and have fun. Go out, hang out with your friends, go to fur meets and 10 conventions, that kind of thing, and just enjoy yourself and fuck the haters.
Yeah.
which that is true. I know personally. Ren, me and him came across this one person.
I don't even want to bring him up.
I know, but I'm just trying to prove a point.
You're talking about the one that joined my group, pretended to be a furry, and come to find out was a furry hater,
Yeah,
and almost got my account banned.
No, the one. You mean the one Wolfenstein?
Yeah, I think that was him.
Yeah. See, we personally knew this guy. Well, I personally knew him in high school, and have you ever heard of the phrase of a manic phase where someone just, is like,
Yep.
like, can you explain to me what a manic phase is? Like,
manic phase is more or less where they basically lose their mind for a short period of time and go into a state of hysteria. They literally become insane and pretty much make no sense whatsoever.
In a sense, because you got to think about it from the manic depressive psychological condition kind of perspective. Because like people who are manic depressive is that there's certain aspects of their neurology that they can't really control. It's just beyond them. It's just part of who they are. And so at certain times they'll be very despondent, very depressed. Everything seems shitty. Those endorphins just aren't firing like they're supposed to. It's not happening on a normal basis. And then other times it just starts firing like crazy. These people get manic. They get overexcited, hyper reactionary, potentially paranoid. And so it just kind of swings between the two.
I just felt like me. I knew him personally, but Ren just only met him through my or something or server. But
Yeah.
I always thought he was trying to sabotage the fandom, because I know personally he never agreed with the furries, but either way, that probably explains his behavior. One thing, he's all cool and funny, then he goes into a really, really depression of a stage.
I had misjudged him in the beginning and didn't realize that. I thought he was fully into the fandom because he was nice. But then somebody in my group pissed him off. I said, "Hey, dude. And from my viewpoint, it looked like he started it. It 100% looked like he started it. So I'm like, hey, dude, you can't be treating people like this. It's not right. I'm going to give you a warning. I'm giving them a warning too. But you can't go off on people like that.
I mean, is
because somebody came.
I'm just wondering if there's a way for someone with manic phase can just like sort their behavior out and not try to sabotage or pick on others, or I don't know.
Not generally without medication, because people who are manic depressive of that sort, they can't control it beyond themselves. They have absolutely no means of self-regulating, which is why medication is, the preferable method of helping them cope with it. And people who do tend to be kind of manic depressive, unfortunately, their perceptions, between their phases do tend to overlap at times, which is why people who are manic depressive may, at times be, perfectly standard, friendly, and all that stuff, but then they may hit a depressive phase, go into a manic phase, go back to depressive, and then in between those phases, their thoughts and their perceptions, their ideas tend to kind of bleed over, which is wherein somebody could be in their depressive phase and just kind of think everything's shit and it's garbage and why am I doing this, blah blah blah. And once they hit their manic phase, they get very hyper reactionary, very proactive, and why some of the things they do and some things they say may come across, like they're attempting to sabotage something, as if they're being, intentionally destructive.
I don't have any issues with this person anymore. I mean, all I wished for them was, just to, have fun with their channel. But then again, they might also need to get help, so they don't try to attack like another person and let their manic depression, get the best of them.
Well, it ended up happening in my group after I added him. He made a comment. I don't remember quite what it was. And one of my other members commented, "Whoa," and he went off on him. Just full on went off on him. They came to me and said, "This guy's got me crying."
And that does tend to be a part of being manic depressive, is that when you hit the manic phase, you tend to be a bit paranoid, but also hyper reactionary. And
yeah,
one of the major downsides to being manic depressive, and particularly being manic depressive and not being medicated, and maybe dealing with a therapist or anything like that, is that you're not entirely sure or able to really kind of navigate it, which is why these people do tend to unfortunately experience a lot of social difficulties, and is that in regards to their interactions with other people. They're kind of like people who have like severe Asperger's. Is that they're little social cues, comments, banter, that kind of thing. They never really understand how to react to it appropriately.
Yeah, with him personally, like the only way he was coping with it was like I even witnessed this dude like drink on camera before. Like he was taking like Jack Daniels and all this stuff, and I'm like, that's not really the way to cope with what you're going through. You really need to, find medication or therapy or something.
Yeah, alcohol is absolutely not a coping mechanism,
well,
but unfortunately for some people who are manic depressive have psychological and neurological conditions like that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them that they aren't in a position to be able to afford to go to a therapist or to afford medication or doctors or anything like that. And the closest thing they have in order to at least even remotely help deal with their feelings is something cheap like alcohol. And it's the same kind of thing for people who, suffer from chronic pain. Like I myself, I have a degenerative spinal condition. I am in chronic pain 24/7, 365. I can't afford to go to a doctor. I can't afford pain pills or anything like that. I generally tend to cope with that and the pain by drinking. Now, personally, I'm one of those who, thankfully, I'm a very responsible drinker. I only, maybe a couple shots, every night after work when I'm feeling a little sore and I'm in pain, and I'll just fall asleep and wake up and go about my day. But some people, they tend to go a little overboard because the alcohol does have addictive properties, unfortunately.
Well, the way I've seen stuff like that and the way I personally view on it is you've got a lot of people that have a lot of brain problems and they drink and smoke and stuff, and the way that affects them, it more or less dulls and nullifies that sense to where they really just don't feel anything at all. They just don't really think. It's like a shut-off switch, and they like it because it keeps them more or less calm.
Well, for the most part, because especially alcohol does tend to be one of those things that for people who do
Yes.
have neurological, psychological, or chronic pain issues or something like that, is alcohol is a numbing agent. It's a depressant,
Yes.
so it's going to drag you down. It's going to make you sleepy. It's going to make you a little, at times, morbid, maybe have a bad attitude. But it is a numbing agent, and people indulge in that because they're like, God, I just need these one or two drinks, and I won't really feel anything. And
Well, the thing,
unfortunately, most people who engage in that don't comprehend the long-term side effects of it. And one of the long-term side effects being is that as you do it, the longer you do it, it's just like if you were a drug addict on meth or something like that. Only so much is going to do so well for a
yeah.
while, and then eventually you need to up your dose. And this is
Well,
why these people tend to drink more and drink more over time, and until eventually they just become wrecked and unstable and very broken.
I'm
yeah,
I'm
I
a,
well,
I'm not a like a I mean, I don't drink all the time. I drink every once in a blue moon, but I drink responsibly myself. I do it at home while I'm still living with my mom and stepdad. I'm not a like when I'm drunk, I'm not like an angry drunk. I'm just like a very chill like person who could just sit with you and just talk for like hours and hours pretty much.
It's
well, the
very
way
dependent.
well, what ended up happening with me, I have severe ADHD, severe anxiety, and severe depression. Well, most of my problems relate back to traumatic stress and traumatic events in my life, like my mom leaving, my best friend dying, and stuff like that. The way I learned to cope with it, I know it's not really smart. I started smoking and vaping at like 13. Then I hit like 16 and I quit because one of my friends gave me a cigarette that was laced with something to try to force me to quit smoking. And darn sure made me quit. When I turned 18, I picked up cigarettes again, and now I'm vaping, trying to stop smoking. I've got myself to 6% Nick, and I mixed in with my Nick a 300 milligram per drop bottle of CBD. And something I have noticed, I'm not really big on the whole THC thing per se, because it goes back to that whole numbing thing. But the CBD, it doesn't as much numb everything and make you like brain dead as much as it sort of seems to affect the chemistry of the mind and temporarily mends those bonds long enough for you to figure out, hey, this is off. And
Well,
it helps you to think about that so you can work towards it on your own.
that's inherently because THC is the primary driving chemical in marijuana that
Yes.
creates hallucinogens. It's a hallucinogenic. And that's why a lot of people tend to be very focused on that, is because, it does have the numbing. Of course, all marijuana and marijuana related products, for the most part, have both CBD and THC in them. And while CBD being, the kind of, let's say, numbing agent, the THC is what gives them that psychological kick of,
Well,
of enjoyment and, pleasure and things like that.
when
But
it comes to the sorry.
CBD itself, you know, I personally don't do it just because it's really, really fucking hard to get where I live. But
Yes, I can understand that.
CBD, you know, I'm a big proponent of, because CBD doesn't have the hallucinogenic aspect to it. So it doesn't have that psychological tick. It doesn't have that
Well,
psychological, hook. But it does, as far as I'm aware from the studies that have been done with it, it does alter brain chemistry.
yes.
It does alter your brain chemistry physically and neurologically, which in a positive way. It helps rearrange your neurons in a way that supports you and suppresses pain receptors and things like that. Things that generally tend to cause you issues, to help you deal with stress and things. It corrects them in certain ways that mitigates them. So
I had
CBD I'm good for.
got a vape, cheap little smock vape, itty bitty vape pen, built-in battery from the vape store in my hometown, and then I discovered CBD and started reading into it and stuff, and then started using it. It really helped with my ADHD. And then I broke my finger, so physical pain on top of mental pain, and it was almost like nothing. The CBD really helps, and I swear by it, to be honest. But I mean, I've had my fair share of experiences with actual pot, and I will say, pot in small quantities can be a good thing, but in large quantities, it's not good
Ren,
because you'll overdo it and you won't think about anything.
Ren.
That's inherently the thing with marijuana, is that
Yes.
CBD being a component of marijuana, a non-hallucinogenic component of marijuana, has all kinds of benefits. A shit ton, an absolute shit ton of medical benefits. Unfortunately, it's the THC. That's what gets a lot of people, especially
Yeah.
these people that you would look at and consider to be potheads. Is
Well,
that
the
while
Okay.
marijuana does not inherently in and of itself have addictive properties chemically, it does have, because of the THC, psychologically addictive properties, and that's the downside to it.
So, sorry if I don't mean to get off topic here.
That's fine.
Has I'm trying I'm trying to pronounce your name right, but is it Naskatan or
Naskatan.
Naskatan? Okay. So
But don't feel bad about mispronouncing my name, because I usually just, be it my alias or my real name, because my real name's kind of weird too. I just tell people the exact same thing: is, dude, pronounce it however you want, or you can call me, hey, that douchebag. I don't really care. You can call me whatever you want. I don't even care.
so there's this person on YouTube. He calls himself the Messenger, and
The Messenger?
yeah, have you heard of him?
Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's I think he talks about like people who are atheists or based on their religion or the universe or something. And
Oh, is he one of those? Is he one of those like
well,
weird fringe, like religiously focused kind of YouTube channels? Because if that's the case, then of course I wouldn't have heard of them, because as an agnostic, I just tend to avoid that crap. I'm just kind of like, I don't even fucking care. I don't know.
the last
yeah,
thing,
hold on, Ren. Yeah, he's this guy that's big on this whole stuff with the universe and science. But have you ever encountered an atheist or talked to one?
I have encountered many atheists. Many. So goddamn many. I have encountered I couldn't even count the number of atheists I've met, the number of Christians I've met, the number of Muslims I've met, and Jews I've met. I've met all kinds of goddamn people. And that's kind of why I'm an agnostic, is that I'm just like, all right,
hey, Cora,
there could be a god, there could be a flying spaghetti monster. I don't fucking know.
to be honest, if you want to meet a true full-blown atheist, he even makes fun of religion. Talk to my uncle.
Oh, wow.
Is he one of those? Is he one of those drunk uncles that talks about the
He doesn't really drink as much, but he has a really high-paying job in Vegas,
I'm so glad I
and
cut
he
myself off there.
is obsessed with Warhammer.
Warhammer. That's
Okay.
He has.
Is he obsessed with Warhammer or Warhammer 40K?
I'm not sure. Never really got into it, but
Because if he's obsessed with just Warhammer, then he's a basic bitch. If he's
got
obsessed
a
with Warhammer
3D
40,
printer.
if he's obsessed with Warhammer 40K, on the other hand, then your uncle and I need to fucking talk, because
he has a 3D
because
printer and
chaos
has an entire.
chaos can go to hell, and the Emperor is forever, and God damn it, how dare you commit any kind of heresy?
So
Well, he prints out the figures on a 3D printer, and he has an entire room dedicated to printing and painting figures.
I need to talk to this son of a bitch. Oh my god.
So I don't think I've personally never encountered an atheist myself, but I have heard of agnostic. Yes, I have heard of that. Honestly,
Really? Are you serious? In this day and age, you've never met an atheist?
no, like I've never even
You'll meet one. You'll meet one every day. They'll walk right by you. You'll never know it.
What? I was gonna say you've never met an atheist. What kind of middle of the nowhere, down in the deep south, 1,000 people live there, shit hick town
Cora,
you live in?
What rock are you living under?
Listen,
Cora, the one who shall not be named was an atheist.
listen, hold on. I was born in 1997. I'm about to turn 22 this Sunday, so
Wait a minute here.
Quentin
Wait.
is an
That
atheist.
changes much.
I have a genuine question.
What?
Okay, I'm gonna ask each of you in turn. Cora, how old are you?
I'm 21, about to be 22.
Ren, how old are you?
18.
Flippy, how old are you?
24.
And Super Godzilla has his mic muted, so I'm not gonna ask him.
That's kind of not new.
He's
But
in
I'm
his
also-
20s.
God, you're all
As far as I
children.
know.
Children. God,
Oh,
I
I
feel
know
so
my
old.
stuff. Right.
Hey, Nim's 33. He's in my server.
I feel so old. Oh my god.
The last thing I did want to mention about the whole weed thing is, I know with some people,
Wait,
like
Ren, Ren, shut up. Shut
Huh?
up. Super Godzilla unmuted. Super Godzilla, how old are you? Where's your mic?
I'm
Turn it on.
24.
24?
I'm 24.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, okay, so I was right. You're all fucking children. God.
But we are delightful.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Last thing-
I may act like an asshole and act like, I'm super fucking old, like I'm over the hill or something, but I'm only 30. It's not that bad.
Honestly,
You're not any worse than Nim.
honestly, you're like you're more than welcome to come to my server, and we'd be delightful to have you because you're very interesting to talk to.
I mean,
Right.
heck, if you join the Discord server, anytime you want to debate something, I'll be more than happy to debate it with you.
No, Ren. I need to make this very clear to you, Ren. I do not debate. I never debate.
Okay.
Because I see, maybe it's just me, but I see absolutely zero benefit to the concept of debates. Because
Well-
debates as far as I'm concerned, and I'm ever, been made aware, it's just a competition of, who can beat who? Who can beat who?
I don't-
I thought of something. What if like Nim and then you, Nazca, like you guys have a conversation? We're not talking about debate, like a conversation, like see who's more intelligent.
Well, that's generally that's generally tends to be how I tend to prefer it. Is that I absolutely despise the concept of debates because
I'm
someone's
not
always looking to win. So
I'm calling
I've
it a
always looked at
debate,
it.
but
I
not
know what you
really
mean.
as much a debate as to the way I see debates is it's like you say something or they counter it with, oh, well, I think this. And it's like, okay, that's something new. I didn't think
Yeah.
about it that way.
I see what you mean, but that's just generally what I tend to prefer to tell people is, debates. I have absolutely no time for those debates. Somebody's always looking to win. I don't care about debates. What I want to have
Okay.
is discussions. I want to be able to talk to somebody. I want to be able to express my ideas. I want to be able to share share what I think with them, have them share what they think. I want to be able to learn from each other. I am infinitely more interested in discussions and discourse than I am with debates, because no one's looking to win. Fuck your winning. I don't care about your winning.
Yeah.
I will lose. I will lose intentionally every single day of my life if it means that I can just get these people to shut the fuck up.
There's nothing wrong with discussions and sharing your interests. I mean, I always love meeting new people, especially when they talk about what they like, and that's how you make friends and get to know another person.
Discussions and conversations and discourse, as far as I'm concerned, that's the preferred method, because that's the way in which you can actually get to better know people, who, be they agree with you or disagree with you on any number of topics. It's how you get to know people. It's how you get to be introduced to new ideas and how people perceive them and how they argue them. It's basically just the very, very base method of how you open yourself up to new perspectives and ideas.
Last thing I want to mention on the whole weed thing is I think it's kind of strange how the CBD doesn't really have like negative effects on the body and mind.
Ren, why are you so focused on weed, man? Why are you so focused on the marijuana, man?
I want to talk about, and I've been wanting to talk about it recently.
I know. I'm just giving you shit. Don't mind me.
You should. I think he's just putting a boot in your ass.
Boop.
I think it's interesting how you add the THC to it, and it negatively affects the body, makes the body look like it's aging quicker. And also, it with like people that have paranoid schizophrenia, it adds to it and makes it worse.
THC
certain strands.
THC is a bitch and a half, plain and simple. CBD all the way.
What if you could be like younger? Like, what would you do if you could be younger?
Oh,
I would never started any of this shit.
Oh my god! If I could go back to being 18-year-old, if I could go back to being 18 years old forever, God, I would be such a whore.
If I could go back and see myself at 13, I'd slap myself in the face and say, "Don't pick up that cigarette."
Well, of course.
Discover CBD; it'll help you.
Well.
You say as I light up a cigarette.
Well, I mean, we're only human. We make mistakes when we're young. I mean, I know I'm still young, but at least I'm not out there like, screwing one guy after another. Like, I stay with one person.
Well, the fact that I've been smoking for 5 freaking years, still trying to stop. I mean, when I first started, I'm like, I could put it down any time.
5 years?
I did.
Son, I am disappointed.
I mean,
when I turned 14, I quit for like 3 months. That was after a year of sitting there smoking. I quit for 3 months because I wanted to. I'm like, well, it did help with the stress a bit. It did take my mind off things. Why the fuck not?
Well, you're just lucky you can quit, because I smoke the strongest shit on the market. I've been trying for 15 years to quit.
Well, now here I am further down the line, like after I turned 16 and quit until I was 18, almost every freaking day, or at least once a week, I was thinking about when I was going to smoke.
Well, just be glad you have not hit the point yet where you develop emphysema.
I'm glad.
I don't know what that is.
I'm glad I've never even smoked. I mean, I just drank from time to time.
Emphysema, for the record, Ren, is basically where your lungs turn to popcorn.
Ew.
Oh, that shit.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking horrible, and
popcorn
tends to develop between 10 and 15 years of consistent smoking, and I've been smoking for 15 years, so
popcorn lung is what you're talking about, correct?
Oh my god. No, it's bad.
It is. It's horrible. Believe me, I'm trying to quit. I really am. But God, these are damn good cigarettes.
The tar thing definitely sucks. I mean, that's why I'm trying to quit smoking and go to vaping, is because I hate the tar factor.
Sir,
I wake up every morning and I'm coughing up shit.
Sir, this is why This is why I don't smoke anything with any kind of additives or any pesticides. I smoke all natural.
Perfect.
Yeah,
What
gotta
a
do that
gay
crunk
voice.
stuff. Gotta do that
Oh,
crunk,
honey.
Oh,
I mean-
sweetheart, if you want to hear a gay voice, oh my God, I was born and raised in California. I could tell you about gay voice. Okay, sugar? Okay. All right, you silly goose. Don't even fucking get me started.
I was born and raised in
Oh
Oklahoma.
shit! Wait, Ren, did you have like fucking helium? Because that was hilarious.
Yes, I did.
Where is it? You still have more?
Ren, if you have
Yes, I
if you
still
have
have
helium,
more.
you need to share because I feel like talking like a baby.
Well,
Please
the
bring
way
out
I
the
was
helium.
talking was more so like a lolly than.
Oh shit! You
I
you
was being
motherfuckers!
evil.
Bring out the helium, as I say.
Oh, fuck!
It's not even technically mine. It's my mother's helium, but I've been using it.
Just
You know, I'm
true.
not
come
really
on,
supposed
come on.
to.
Let's
I
have
feel-
fun in this stream. Let's have fun in the stream now. Come on.
Oh,
Bring it out.
I feel a little bad now because I was gonna start making a bunch of funny ass voices, but I realized I have the wrong headset software installed. Fuck.
Well, the kind of
Whoa.
shit that I do voice-wise is, have you seen Team 4 Stars Dragon Ball Z Abridged?
What's about time?
Well, I kind of mastered the Vegeta voice. I'm gonna have to take out my fangs to do it.
Kakarot.
Where is my little thing I've been using as a case?
Yeah,
I don't have it out here.
Because I've got Logitech wireless headset, so I used to have the software installed that came with the Screaming Bee voice modulator. Ah, but I
Well,
upgraded.
What I'm using right now
Wait,
is
wait,
a
wait.
new headset
So-
I got. It's a Turtle Beach headset, cheap
So
one.
you do voices, right, Nazca?
Technically speaking, I do voices. I do well. Let me put it to you this way: a lot of people for my entire life have told me that I should do radio, that I should do voice acting, and that I should sing. And I've never gotten into those fields because one, I don't know how, and two, I'm too much of a coward.
I think it's funny. Like my boyfriend, he does voice acting too, and I think it's funny when he sounds like a black man. I mean, he just nails it perfectly. It's
I
like
have a
When he
very
sounds like a black
important
man?
message that I
Yeah,
have
he
to
can-
intervene with.
he can talk like he can talk like a big old black man with his deep
Okay.
voice.
I am required at this point then to inquire as to what you mean by sound like a black man,
Real
because
quick,
if you want me to throw on some like ebonics type,
before
shit
we
going
continue,
on, that's fine. But if you want me to just sound like a straight up I'm not gonna say that word. I'm not gonna say that word. I'll say that word
real quick,
in private. I
have-
won't say it on stream.
I have to intervene with something. Very important message. Is that my voice? Nope, that didn't sound like Isma. Damn it. The helium's getting weaker.
A little.
Okay,
Just a
come
little.
on, come on,
Sound like
Nazca.
Yzma.
Do it.
Why? There's like
Why?
none left.
Let's.
Why is it such a human?
I'm so jelly now. Like I can't even do that.
Ren,
word.
why are you sucking helium? Helium is for a bunch of
Because I
pussy ass
can.
bitches who don't know how to actually modulate their voices and learn to do it naturally.
That is cute.
Shut up.
I used to be able to talk like Stitch.
I used to creep people out by the way I talk like Elmo.
Do it.
Oh god, how does Elmo talk again? Fuck, I haven't done it in
Oh
years.
God, no! God, no! God,
Um,
no!
How does Elmo talk?
Well, I creep my friends out with the fact that I was able to sound like I can't remember his name, Rob Zombie.
That's wow, I just realized that's like the one celebrity on the planet I've never heard actually talk. I've seen his movies, but I've never heard Rob Zombie talk.
Well, I've been told I sound like Rob Zombie, and apparently I look like PewDiePie.
He does look like PewDiePie.
You look like PewDiePie.
PewDiePie? It's PewDiePie.
PewDiePie.
Shut up, God. Don't make fun of me.
PewDiePie. Do you look like PewDiePie?
Well, here's me, just for record.
Shirt on.
The PewDiePie.
No,
lights.
I don't have a shirt
Okay.
on. I was
Okay,
too lazy to
okay,
put one on.
Ren, I gotta be honest here. I gotta be honest. You don't look like PewDiePie. Now let me
Thank
clarify.
you.
Now let me clarify. You don't look like PewDiePie. You look like PewDiePie if he actually put on some fucking bulk.
Yeah, I weigh like 140 pounds.
Wow, I'm jealous.
I weigh 130.
Well, for the longest time, I only weighed like 128, and then I started getting weight. It's like, fuck yes!
There's
Wow.
nothing wrong with chubby guys. It's okay to be chubby.
It's fine to
I'm
be
s-
chubby. It's
I'm
fine
not
to be
even
chubby,
chubby.
but I just miss when I was 120 pounds before I snapped my back.
I'm not even chubby though. Like
No. We're not
most
talking
of-
about you. We're talking about me. I'm the fat piece
Yeah.
of shit.
most of my shit went to height.
I might be fat, but at least I'm hygienic.
I'm the equivalent of a African.
SpongeBob!
Got Ebola.
Well, I can talk like this. See, I can do the Vegeta. I've got the
Hello,
big
mate.
dick.
Hello, mate. It's good to see you, mate.
Hey mate,
Hello,
what you talking
mate.
about, mate? You're gonna go out there and you're gonna find you some like rose. You're gonna go out there, get your little roses.
See, I don't exactly know all the freaking words, so I can't really play into the accent, the full accent, but I can kind of mimic the sound of the voice.
We have a message for Nim. Nim, if you're watching this, sorry, but Nazca took your place.
Hey,
Well, I
Nim,
mean, to be
now you
fair,
can go shove a big one up your butt.
big one up your butt. Well, to be fair, it can't really be helped, Cora. It can't really be helped because in all things, I am simply superior.
Watch there be a huge war between him and them.
Or fabulous.
No, we're not fabulous. We're fabulous.
No, it's I'm
Fabulous.
sexy and I know it. I'm not afraid to show it.
I'm sexy and I know it. Boom, 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 boom. Or however that fucking song goes. I don't know. I'm drinking, so. ignore me.
Oh, somebody is having fun.
I've had about. What have I had so far tonight?
I was drinking the other
I
night,
like
but I kind of ran out.
drunks.
I've had about 4 Bahama Mama cocktails in a can.
I've been drinking punch.
Ooh. Hey,
They're pretty good. I mean, if you're old enough to buy alcohol, I would suggest look for this product called Club Tails. They have a few different things, cocktails in a can. They have screwdrivers, Bahama Mamas, and Sex on the
Screwdrivers
Beach.
are amazing. I'm sorry, screwdrivers are better homemade.
actually,
Of course they are. Of course they are. Everything's better homemade, dude. Everything's better homemade.
You should have done that in the gay voice. It would have sounded.
Here's the
Ren,
thing.
everything is better homemade. Everything is better, especially, and don't even fucking argue with me on this. Don't dispute me. Absolutely, pancakes. Oh my god, especially
Oh
when you
my
have.
god, yes.
Especially when you have one of those fancy little devices, those pancake makers from like IKEA, those fancy ones that they sit on a
Yes.
little stand and you can flip it. Oh my god, you can put all kinds of stuffings in there, like fruit and cheese. It's amazing.
Yes.
You remind me of Seth MacFarlane when he voices Brian and he talks all gay or something like that.
Oh, you talking about Brian's gay cousin? Jasper, I think his name is.
Yeah, Jasper.
Oh, honey, don't even.
See,
Oh,
we
Brian,
had
the
this.
things I could tell you about.
We had this guy on TikTok. You're kind of reminding me of him. He does a professor thing for Hogwarts. His character's name is Professor Rain. He is like the hugest sass monster there is.
Hogwarts. Ronald Weasley. It's Leviosa. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. I really couldn't. I'm so glad I could get Super Godzilla there to actually giggle. Thank you. I'm so glad I can make you laugh.
When you're exactly look behind you, because that's what a ranger's gonna be.
Now, real quick,
Yeah.
Cora, could you make a bio under this video and put like his TikTok and not TikTok, his YouTube and my YouTube in it?
TikTok.
Oh,
Ugh.
I don't know. I don't think I did. I don't know.
Are you even able to do shit like that on this website? I don't know. This is all weird to me because I'm so used to people doing Google Hangouts.
Ew.
Oh yeah, believe me, I know Google Hangouts are garbage.
I'm sorry. Google Hangouts and House Party is garbage. You're gonna FaceTime, either do YouTube with this or get Skype.
Skype.
Yes.
Wow. How fucking retro. Dude, if you're gonna FaceTime, just use Discord.
Yeah, but I don't want to do the whole Nitro bullshit. And
You know
with
what?
my
You don't
phone,
You don't have to
without
have
the
Nitro.
Mm,
You don't have to have Nitro to FaceTime.
mm,
The number
I
of
know I
people who
don't, but
I've
still.
Dude, the number of people who have FaceTimed me on Discord who didn't have Nitro just so they could masturbate for me, that's I couldn't tell you. It's so many.
I bet you him would.
Honestly, that's a good question. I'm honestly wondering at this point. What the fuck? What the fuck does Nitro even get you?
Oh, well, it makes it where you can send videos, like bigger videos, which I can't seem to send videos.
Okay, so it just basically it's
It
here
ups your shit.
higher quality videos and a bigger upload limit.
And it
Okay.
allows you to send special gifts and, well, gifts, not gifts. Wait,
Fuck.
I said
I
that
don't
the
know.
same.
Personally, I'm looking at these and I'm just like, okay, fuck Nitro. I've got Google Drive. If I want to send somebody a 500 megabyte video, of me punching a baby.
Just fucking email it.
If I want to send somebody a 500 megabyte video of me punching a baby, I'll just do it through Google Drive. If I want to send somebody a 2 gigabyte video of me riding a dildo, I don't even care. Google Drive.
What?
What? Oh, did I not mention I'm a faggot? I do apologize. If that's disturbing news to anybody. Yes, I do appreciate an occasional dick in the mouth. So yeah.
I had somebody over frickin' Fortnite. I played it out of boredom. I'm moving from Fortnite to playing crap, I can't remember the name of the game.
Wait, hold on.
You're
You're not playing Fortnite with Chapter 2 released? Chapter 2 is pretty cool.
I mean,
as long as you're not playing Overwatch, because fuck Blizzard. Bunch of bootlicking Chinese loving sons of bitches. I feel like I just killed the conversation.
No, you're fine.
I know, I'm just fucking around.
It's okay. Oh man, this is making my night because my birthday is coming up Sunday, and
Your birthday's on Sunday?
yes,
Wait, Sunday. What's Sunday? Sunday is
October 20th.
Sunday is the 20th. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Turning
shit.
20. Turning 22.
I feel a little bad now.
Why?
I feel a little bad because every time somebody's birthday comes up, particularly somebody who has had some kind of interesting and or meaningful interaction with me, every time their birthday comes up, I'm like, God, I wish I could get them something. And then I realized I can't draw. I would love to do art for people regularly, but God, I can't draw for beans. I tried drawing one time and it turned into a mess. I think my landlord was unhappy.
Why is your landlord unhappy?
It was a very, very, well, let's just say they don't appreciate crayon on the side of the building.
Oh, no.
Especially not in a multi-million-dollar apartment complex. Nope.
Mm-mm.
Heck no.
I wonder what happened to... Wait. Oh, there's Ren.
Where's Ren? Ren died. Ren, why'd you go away? Ren?
Because my internet decided to fucking die.
Why does your internet suck?
It's 4G.
Well, that's your fucking problem, dude. 4G's basic bitch.
Fuck you.
200 megabits a second, motherfucker. 4G's for niggas.
Yeah, come on, man. Get on my level. 5G, where I'm away from the fucking thing too much, and I cut out
5G.
the-
Wait,
Oh, God.
5G?
Yeah,
I really
Wait,
want...
who's on 5G? Flippy, you're on 5G?
yeah.
Dude, do you like live in the Bay Area or something? Because if you do, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You do, I'm so sorry.
But
Oh.
how much of what I said was actually heard earlier before I fucking dipped out?
You mean in the past 4 minutes or 5 minutes?
Yep.
Nothing.
Yep.
Absolutely nothing.
Well, like I was saying when I fucking went poof, I have played the new Fortnite, the updated version. The kids in it still haven't changed, so what I did was I started using a gay voice at first and started saying, "Oh, honey, I'm just trans. You'll never understand it. I'm not a faggot."
I'm sorry, but just you need to respect my pronouns.
Sweetums, we're gonna have a makeover.
Like, girl, please just back off.
Did you just assume my gender? Yes, I did.
And then I went from that to actually admitting the fact that I'm gender fluid and bisexual.
No, you're
so
not.
I'm like, you're half right, but you're half wrong.
Gender fluid can suck my ass. Just saying.
Yes. Seriously, I'm so sick of this bullshit.
I'm
Yeah.
gender fluid. No, you're not. You got a dick. You're a dude. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm
I've just kind of been
offended.
sitting here muting myself and just playing my guitar.
Well,
'Cause
as I'm sure you're aware, only men can play guitar.
Well,
Seriously.
I can't play guitar, so I guess I'm a woman.
No, seriously. Only men can play guitar. Find me a woman who's ever played guitar well. Do it. Fucking do it. Do it.
One of my
Fucking
friends from
do it.
high school, who was a chick, played guitar really well.
I guarantee
know.
they had a dick.
I
there's
can
just
play
that one chick
harmonica, so
that,
what am I, an
from
old
Rock
Western?
Scallion's Channel,
No. Dudes play guitar well. What women play well is
Is a dick.
primarily the flute.
Oh God.
I took that way wrong.
No, dude, my dude, you can only take it wrong if I'd said clarinet.
Oh
Where?
God.
And that's only because I could say
Where
they're practicing.
are we going with this? Listen, okay. Where are we going with this whole clarinet thing? There could be many ways.
Oh, jeez.
Well, basically,
Don't tell her. Leave her out.
Basically, I was making a pun.
Okay,
About dicks.
as long as there's nothing being stuck up the ass, then that's
No, nothing up the butt. That's just for faggots.
I mean, I'm not gonna deny that I might enjoy a good fisting.
Wow, you need to get the fuck out.
Well, this stream turned into a whole different scenario.
It really did. But you know, just saying, Ren.
Just
I gotta
the
be
rabbit hole
honest.
gets deeper and deeper.
Wear a collar and scream daddy.
Okay, see, I may be an absolute and abject faggot, and I'll
Wait,
have all
Ren.
sorts of things up my backside. But you know, you start getting into the fisting area, I'm just considering you loose beyond shit, and you are. I'm sorry,
I'm
nobody
a
can enjoy
fucking
you.
virgin. That part I was kidding about.
You
Wait,
better
Ren,
be.
Ren. I thought Nim was your daddy.
Fuck you.
But
Just
why is
because he tries to claim me because he says he owns all cats doesn't mean I'm his.
But Ren,
What?
Ren. I got a legitimate question, Ren.
Huh.
Why is he not your daddy?
You really want to know?
Why is he not your daddy?
You sure you want to know?
Why?
Because you're my daddy.
Oh, oh.
Then eventually,
I'm gonna do fucking unspeakable things to you.
and then eventually he's gonna gain. Look, not only he's gonna gain people calling him daddy. He's also gonna gain mistress.
I would be fine with being called mistress as well.
Where
Call me
is
what-
my
call me-
harmonica?
Call
And
me
you know what though?
Oh gosh.
Hey,
call me whatever you would like. I'm still gonna rail your butt.
honestly, I'm glad I had experience of not being a virgin. So
Is it in
I'm-
here? My
Is it-
dad.
Is it
He's an
weird?
asshole.
Is it weird? I gotta ask. Is it weird that the biggest, messiest, most destructive penis I've ever taken was when I was 14 years old?
what?
What?
No way.
There's no way, dude.
There's no way.
Oh, believe you me, I've taken a lot of dick in the meantime. But no wait, I'm actually getting dates mixed up. No, the biggest, messiest, and most destructive penis I've ever taken was when I was 10 and a half.
What?
No.
No!
No.
Yes, I am, and yes, I do understand that potentially there may be some of my haters who will listen to this stream who want to run around and use whatever I am saying currently to say he's a pedo, despite the fact that I was a child.
You're not a pedo. You just wanted to experience.
Of course not. Of course I wasn't a pedo. I was only 10 and a half. But when I was 10 and a half years old, I was friends with a kid. I went over to his place and we were just kind of like sitting in his fucking bedroom or whatever that was overloaded with furniture, desperately trying. It was very difficult to play Gran Turismo. And his 19-year-old brother started to instigate things. Needless to say, this guy was the one dude who had the biggest dick, the most pre, and the biggest cum shots I have ever in my life experienced. And he, on a regular basis for the next year and a half, decided to rail me and fuck my face and just make me do all kinds of things. It was ridiculous.
Oh my god!
I was broken.
Wow.
I was broken
Just-
at a very young age.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. Oh my.
Cora,
I got
Cora?
6 years old.
Ren, shut the fuck up. You're making noises. It sounds like you're digging through a pile of Legos.
I am digging
I don't
through
know-
boxes
I don't know
trying to
whether
find
to-
my
I'm
harmonica.
sorry, I'm sorry.
But no, Cora.
I'm sorry. I don't know
Cora,
whether
I gotta be honest, Cora. Don't say you feel bad for me, Cora. Don't do it.
it makes me want to cry.
No, don't. No, because I was 10 and a half, but even then, god damn, that was amazing.
You gotta be kidding me.
Hey, it's my Duncan Yo-Yo.
Ren, you need to get the fuck out. You need to get the fuck out of your attic. Is what you need to do.
I live in my attic.
Why do you think I said you need to get the fuck out of it?
There's nowhere else to sleep though.
Oh, poor Ren.
There's always the street.
You're mean.
That's hard.
I am. I'm very mean. But I'm mean with a hint of love.
Yeah, right.
Love is very
That
complicated, friend. You
Bukkake
can't
love
decipher.
man.
Yeah, love is hard to find.
It's
And
love
he's
is
gonna give
very
you that fucking
complicated.
tough
I
love,
mean,
isn't he, Ren?
I am. It's going to be very
It's my
tough love with.
harmonica.
It's going to be very tough love, Ren, with fists and everything.
I found my D&D shit
Why haven't you found your harmonica?
because I don't know where the fuck it is. I
Have
still
you-
have not unpacked all the
Ren,
boxes for
Ren,
moving.
Ren, have you unfolded your foreskin and found it in there?
Wait, hold
Fuck
on.
you.
Whoa, hold the fuck up. Hold right the fuck up. Ren has foreskin?
Fuck you. Fuck you all.
No, Ren. I am not in any way saying that in a negative way. I am legitimately asking, do you have foreskin?
I'm kind of trying to figure out what the fuck that is, but okay.
Wait, you don't know what foreskin is?
Not really. Hey, it's an old
You're-
recorder.
Wait, you're how old?
18.
And you don't know what foreskin is?
I've been sheltered most.
It's skin on your dick that you were born with, but doctors
Okay.
cut it off.
Let me put it to you this way. Does the skin of your penis in any way remotely cover the penis head?
Boy, I'm listen. I'm glad I've never dated a guy who had foreskin.
27 minutes or an hour and 27 minutes in.
No, I'm asking at this point because I need to know. Does Ren? I need to know it. I need to. Fuck! I need to teach Ren what foreskin is. Cause I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I love foreskin.
Apparently, I need to be taught more on real food because Nim says I haven't eaten real food.
You're all children. You all really need to learn a lot of things. Oh, Ren disappeared.
He died.
Technical difficulties.
Well, you say technical difficulties, but I think he was just embarrassed about the foreskin.
Oh God. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. I mean, it's just the foreskin.
Wait, hold on. Shut the fuck up. One of my dogs is having dreams. I'm not even kidding. He's laying over on the bed right now, and he's like twitching, and he's whining. It's adorable. Hey, Ren, you're back. Do you have foreskin?
I don't know what it fucking is.
Do you need me to? Do you need
Basically,
do
do
you
you have
need
a
me?
fat dick?
Okay, Ren. Do you need me to send
Did
you
you
a
ask how big
Wikipedia
his
article?
dick was?
Do you need me to send you
Nah,
a
it's just kind of
Wikipedia
being a-
article?
That asshole just
Nazca, I think he asked how big your dick
Look it
was.
Wait, who asked me how big my dick was?
I
What?
think Ren did.
Ren?
No, I did not.
If he asked me how big it was, then the answer is big enough, nigga.
Probably 9
Fuck
inches,
you all.
10 inches.
Cora, quit trying to hit on the new guy.
No, Cora's not trying to hit on me because she already knows I'm an absolute cockmongler.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's trying to hit on me right now, it's gonna be you, Ren. You fucking faggot.
Fuck you.
You only
Hey,
whispered.
look,
You only whispered that because it's true, and you want this dude.
look. Regardless,
No, I don't.
listen. Regardless, I'm a straight female. I like to give compliments to gay guys, so it's.
Women enjoy giving compliments to gay men the same way that gay men love to look at women and be like, "Oh my god, honey, you are so fucking gorgeous."
I am legit about ready to fucking cry. I can't find my great grandfather's harmonica.
Like I said, it's under your
Oh.
foreskin,
Well,
or maybe in your
here's
ass.
here's a thought, Ren. You said you're in the attic. What if it's in the basement?
We have no basement.
Well, I didn't catch that.
Well,
alright.
technically speaking, you're living in the attic, so everything's the basement to you, bitch.
Fuck you. I looked in the garage. It's not in the garage. Oh, there's my homemade dildo. What'd I say? Never mind.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Ren. Ren.
Uh-oh.
Ren.
Uh-oh.
No.
Ren.
No.
Uh-oh.
Is your dick big enough that you're making replicas?
No.
Uh-oh.
He probably is. He's just hiding it.
He
Not a
probably is.
replica.
Well, I mean,
I
mean, this-
replicated something else.
this may be a bit generally off topic, but I do gotta say, weirdly, very weirdly, in my experience, the guys who tend to have the biggest dicks are the guys who tend to be a bit taller than average and slimmer. I'm talking
So you're
about
saying-
generally
so you're
between.
trying to say I have a big dick.
Hold up.
No,
up.
what I'm
Listen.
saying is that in my experience, the guys who tend to have bigger penises tend to be a little bit taller than average. So we're talking closer to 6 foot tall. So between about 5'8" and 6 foot.
Okay,
And they
so
tend to have the kind of body type and metabolism that consistently kind of keeps them generally between about 120 and about 160 pounds.
this is
So
what
you're pretty much talking about me.
This
Okay,
is
good.
what.
You're telling me I have a big dick.
Hold on. This is what I don't get.
I'm not telling you you have a big dick, but if you want to show it off, feel free.
This is what I don't get. So, like,
Shows my dick on YouTube.
okay, so apparently, my boyfriend is 6'7", but people don't believe me though. They're like, "There's no way he's 6'7". I'm like, "Yeah, he is."
Your boyfriend's 6'7"?
Yeah, he's 6'7".
Well, that's understandable. Now, if you told me he
so
was,
he's 6
if
or
you told
7
me he
years
was
old.
if you told me he was like 7'8", I'd be calling you a fucking liar. But 6'7" is totally within the realm of possibility.
I mean,
Because there's a lot of people, like in my job, the number of people who walk into where I work who are
7.5.
easily 6.5 feet tall. There's a lot of them. Me personally, like a lot of people like to tell me, "Oh, you're pretty average height." I feel
7.5.
short. I feel short. You're 7.5 inches. That's great to know.
Fuck! You figure out what I'm talking about.
Yeah, boy.
so,
My plan didn't work.
By the way, Ren. By the way, Ren.
Ren.
Ren. By the way, I'm talking very, very close to my microphone right now, just so you know. 7.5 is delicious. Get in my bed. Anyways,
anyway,
but
so
6'7".
everyone,
Because
everyone
I'm
has,
about 5'7". I'm short.
everyone
I'm
has
5'8".
Yeah, I'm 5'.
No, 5'9". Sorry.
Everyone has heard of this
Uh-oh.
before. It's a sexual joke, like a toaster strudel and a Twinkie, something.
What?
I don't know. I've heard
Frankie!
I've heard the sexual joke about, the bigger their hands and the bigger their feet and all that.
My ears are.
Ren, if you play that recorder one more time, I will hunt down where you live and I will murder you.
What are you gonna say? You're gonna fuck him? Yeah, either way, it's bad enough.
I need to burn that damn thing. It brings horrible memories back.
Don't burn it. Chuck it at a vegan.
Oh,
Yes,
Um,
you know what? Yeah, do that instead, please.
this, hey,
What the fuck.
do you guys want to go into the Discord? I was gonna end the stream.
I'll be there.
Dude, join our gayness.
That works for me. I popped in.
Yeah,
All
don't
right,
worry,
we'll
it's
go there.
not filled with a bunch of fucking precious snowflakes, so you're all good.